Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Please check it, guys. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Right, so now check this what we are discussing there. Now here we are discussing about one interview question. What is that interview question here? Is it possible to run Hibernate application without using configuration file? Answer is what there? Yes, it is possible to run Hibernate applications without using configuration file. That's okay. In Hibernate applications, we are able to provide configuration details in the following two ways. What are the two ways now? First one is what there? By using declarative approach, and second one is what there? By using, right, sir, by using programmatic approach. By using what there? Programmatic approach. In two ways that we are able to provide like what there? In two ways here, we are able to provide like what there? This configuration details in our JDBC applications there. Understand it clearly. Okay, nice. In two ways here, we are able to provide that configuration details that we understood there. Nice. Next one is, if we observe this declarative approach and declarative approach again here, in two ways here, we are able to provide. What are the two ways here? By using XML, and second one is what there? By using properties file now. Right, guys. Now let's see these, the total point here. First of all here, we are going to understand like what there? XML approach. XML approach is regularly we have seen that. Number of times here we are seeing that regular approach here. Got my point or not? Okay, regularly whatever the points here we provided there, that is like what the regular approach of like for providing this what I'm telling to you, this metadata, that means configuration details here. But we have to go for what there, some other approach. What is that other approach here we are going to use there? That other approach like what there, properties files approach here we have to provide. We need to go for like what there, properties files approach. Now let's observe this clearly how I'm going to prepare this properties files approach here. Let me take an example here. Right, sir. Right, sir. Now let it open there. Then I'm able to prepare an application with this. What happened, guys? Okay. Okay. Right, sir. Now here we are getting this part here. Let me close all. Now I want to prepare a separate application there. By that we are able to get some clarity. Now see this one. Now here, let me create a project. No, new Java project, not like this, and Maven project others. Here we have to prepare like what there, Maven project. Here we have to take next button. Now click on what there, next button. Maven simple archetype here we have to prepare. Now here ABP 11. I'm giving there and click on finish button. Right, so let it wait now to create this project here. Right. Here we are getting this project here. Then after that, then what next one here? Open this pom.xml file. Here in pom.xml file, we have to provide like what there, dependencies here we have to provide. Already we created our dependencies there. What we require the dependencies now. Already we have taken the dependencies here. Maven dependencies here we have to provide like what there. These are like what there. Right. As is this dependencies here I want to provide there. Okay. Right. Sir. Now observe carefully. Here Maven dependencies are available. One JUnit is available. Now here we have to provide what there so many. What happened here? Right, sir. Here we are getting the required dependencies here. All of them here we are getting Maven dependencies here we are getting. That's okay, nice. All right, sir. Now including like what their MySQL connector J is also be created. Right, nice. Now observe carefully. After understanding all these points, then what next one here? We have to prepare some entity class now. We have to prepare some entity class. Now here the project is created like this. App test.java. This is test, I think so. Right now here. All right. So now here we are getting like what there app.java. This is about our client application. I'll try to recognize this. Right. So later on, I need to prepare some entity package there. Right click on it. New a package. Dot entities. As is here, I want to prepare like what there employee class here. I want to prepare class name is like what there employee. All right. So now here I want to provide as is the content here. Private into ENO. Private string e name. Private float eSal. Private string e-edit here. Right. Next one is like what the right click here. Source generate getters and setters. Select all generate. That's okay. Right. So then after that, after completion of this particular one, what next one here we have to do there? We need to provide some annotations. First of all, let me provide with XML configurations. Then after that, I will go for what there annotation support. In the properties file, then what we have to do there, that I will give information to you. First of all, let me provide that XML support here. Then after that, I will show with the annotations here. Both I want to show that. Okay, right. Then before that, I have to use what the Java version, guys. Maven dot compiler dot. Then what next one here? Source 1.17. Maven dot compiler dot target 1.17. These two things here we provided here. Now let me update the project here. Still it is in Java 1.5 only. Maven update project 1.17 version here we are getting. That's okay, fine. That's okay now here. We need to prepare resources. So source folder here we have to create there. Right click here. Yeah. Source folder here we have to create. No. Yeah. Source folder. That is resources. No. Now inside this here we have to provide like what they new. A file here I want to take. What file here others no. XML file here required here. XML file. Now this is like what there. Employee dot HBM dot XML. Next button and click on finish button. Inside this, then what we required here, doc type definition is required. Hibernate core we have to open. org.hibernate. Mapping file here we have to open where we are getting like what is the doc type definition. This we provided here. Then after that, here we have to specify like what there. Hibernate mapping. Inside this Hibernate mapping here we have to provide like what their class. Inside this class here we have to provide like what their ID is equal to. Inside the class here we have to provide like what their ID is equal to. Not ID. I think so. What is this actually? Class name. Name is equal to com dot durgasoft.app 11 dot entities dot employee. Table is equal to emp1. ID property ID. Then what we have to provide there? Name is equal to envo. Then what next one here? Property name is equal to ename. Property name is equal to name is equal to eval. Property name is equal to EADDR. Right, sir. We are getting this mapping file here as is. Next one is the configuration file here we have to provide. Column is not required. When the same names we provided like what there, same names we provided for properties and as well as database columns. No, what is not required here? Column is not required. Okay. Right. Sir. Now this is exactly the meaning here. We can understand clearly. Similarly, what is that next point here? I'm telling to you. Now here I need to prepare like what there. Hibernate.cfg.xml. Understand, guys? Hibernate.cfg.xml, but we should not provide like what their XML file here. We need to provide what their properties file. No? We have to provide like what their properties file, guys. Observe carefully. Clear? Properties file here we have to prepare. Now let me prepare this file. Name of file. What is the name of the file here? We have to prepare there Hibernate dot properties. First, Hibernate software will search for Hibernate dot properties. It will search for what there Hibernate dot properties file. There we have to prepare Hibernate dot properties. Alright, sir. Right, sir. Then now we are able to provide this Hibernate properties there. Observe carefully. Now inside this properties file, what we have to provide there? What exactly the properties here we have to provide there? Inside this, the properties name should be what there? Understand it clearly. Sir, all of you following my points now. What I am telling to you, right, sir? Whatever the properties here we are providing inside the XML file, the same thing here we are able to follow. The same thing here we are able to provide inside this. Understand it clearly. So here we have to provide like what there Hibernate dot understand these properties now. Hibernate dot 1 minute, guys. Okay. Hibernate dot connection dot driver class name, right? Driver underscore class is equal to, there we have to provide the driver class name. What the driver class name here we are providing there com dot mysql dot cg dot jdbc dot driver. Next one after that, so what next one here? Hibernate dot connection dot what next one here? URL is equal to what we have to provide there directly jdbc colon mysql colon slashes localhost colon 3306 slash durga db. Then after that, what next one here? Hibernate dot connection dot username is equal to, then here we have to provide like what there root Hibernate dot connection dot password is equal to, again here we have to provide like what the root here we have to provide. Now dialect also here we have to provide then Hibernate dot Hibernate dot what their dialect is equal to, right sir, arg dot Hibernate dot dialect dot mysql dialect. Right sir. Now these are the various properties here we provided Hibernate dot properties file now. Okay, but mapping configuration is not possible here. That mapping configuration we have to provide separately. Mapping configuration here we have to provide separately in our mapping file configuration. We have to provide separately in our configuration object explicitly. That we have to do anyway. Right, sir. Observe carefully after completion of this. What changes here we required in the client application? No. In place of XML file here we provided what there Hibernate properties. No. Right, sir. Now in app.java, what we have prepared there directly here we provided like what there configuration is equal to new configuration object here we created configuration is equal to new configuration object here we created. Sir, got my point or not? What we created here? Configuration object here we created. Observe carefully. When we created this configuration object, then what next one here? See, whenever we are creating this configuration object, automatically this configuration object, this configuration will search for Hibernate.properties file under the source. Automatically it will search for what there Hibernate.properties. It will search there. Hibernate.properties are searched there. Configure method is not required. Directly I'm telling there. Here configure method is not required. Just create object. No, it will search for what there Hibernate.properties. When hibernate.properties are not available, and if we provide hibernate.cfg.xml file with the configuration details, there we have to write configure method. If we use that properties file, then it is not required to provide what their configuration. That means it's not required to provide what their configure method. Just a configuration object if we create now, this configuration object is going to search for configuration constructor will search for the configuration details with what there hibernate dot properties file there. Got it or not? Right, guys. Now this is what exactly the meaning of like what they're providing this properties file. Automatically it will be recognized. Then here inside this properties file, what data here we provided? So now observe carefully. Inside this properties file, then what data here we provided there? What data here we provided there? Understand it now? Only driver class, URL, username, password, and dialect. But mapping resources are not provided here. But we need to provide that mapping resources explicitly. So further purpose than what I'm telling there, configuration dot add add resource. That resource name here we have to provide. What is that resource name actually? Employee dot hbm dot xml. Employee dot hbm dot xml that we have to provide. Employee dot hbm dot xml that we have to provide. Add resource method here we have to use. That's okay, fine. Whenever we are adding that resource, no, then automatically, then what will happen there? Automatically here we are able to get all the configuration details to the configuration object. Then after that here we have to get like what there session factory object. Session factory is equal to configuration dot build session factory. Next one is what there session is equal to session factory dot like here what we have to prepare there open session here. Open session here we are getting there. Whenever we are getting that session object, just I want to get like what the employee object. Employee is equal to session dot get off employee dot class. Now the primary key value should be like what there 111. Typecasting is required. If we move that one, add cast that we are getting there. Okay. Then after that, what next one here? Whenever we are getting this employee object, no, right? Then here we have to go for like what there. Directly we can display the data. Right, sir. Yeah, guys. Then there is a question here. I said you clearly, Melvin Ross. In place of this mapping resource tag, no, just directly we have to use what there add resource method. The add resource method here we have to use. Why? Because in the case of properties, no, we don't have any property like what there mapping. Mapping is not possible to define. Because of that reason, we have to add that XML file explicitly to the configuration object. Configure method is not required. Just in the normal configuration object, if we create, no, it will search for hibernated properties file. Then after that, it able to we need to add that mapping file data to the configuration object. But if we provide that properties file, the hibernated properties, no, all the details are must be provided to this particular one. Like this one. Now here we need to display like what there employee details. Sys not outed println of line space here we provided. Sys not outed println of employee number plus what we have to do there. Employee salary plus employee dot get ESL Right, guys. Right now, these are the values here we are getting there directly. We can understand now. Okay. Then everything is okay. Now here we have to execute our application there. In the database here, whether we are able to get the data or not, emp1 table as records data is available, then we have to execute it. Right, sir. All the data here we are getting there. Okay, fine. This is exactly the meaning of like what there. How to use properties file, how to provide configuration details through properties file in our content. Clear. Right, sir. For example, if I use annotations there in the same application, if I use annotations in the same application, guys, what we have to do there? At the rate entity, at the rate table. Right, sir. Inside this table here, what we have to provide? The name is equal to emp1 at the rate id at the rate column. Name is equal to no at the rate column. Name is equal to ename at the rate column. Name is equal to isal at the rate column. Name is equal to EATTL. Right, sir. Then all the elements here we provided, all the values here we provided here. Observe careful. On my case. Then after that, whenever we provided this one, XML file is not existed here. Observe carefully, guys. XML file is not existed here. There we have to go for like what there. Employee.html.xml file is not existed. But in app.java, in place of this add config, that means configuration.add resource now. In place of that, then what we have to provide there? Configuration dot add class. Add class. There is a method. Add class is existed here. I think so. Add class or add annotated class. Add annotated class. Maybe here we can use that. Then what is the dot class file name here? We have to provide employee dot class. That is guys. Then here annotations related part here we provided. Add annotated class or maybe add class is also be okay. It has to be worked out. Add class, no. But anyway, then here we are using like what there? Add annotated class. Even that one also be is working there. Right, sir. Right. Now this is one point here we have to say there clearly. Fine. Now let me execute this program here. Yeah, then that is required in the case of primary key generations, Melvin Ross. Not required now. Now I'm going to provide primary key value in my own style. So I'm not asking the system to generate primary key value, not required. Right. Now let me generate the content here. Annotated class here we provided. Now let me execute this. As is data here we are getting. That's okay, fine. Then after that, I have a question, guys. All of you observe carefully. What is the properties file name here we provided, guys? Now tell me. What is the properties file here we provided there? Please recognize my point. Everybody, please respond for me. What is the properties file here we are getting there? Hibernated properties here we provided. In the case, that is a default name. Hibernate software will search for the properties file with the same name, hibernated properties. Got it or not? In the case, if we change the properties file name, in the case, if we change the properties file name, in the case, if we change the properties file name, in place of this hibernated properties, or rename, if I provide like what their hibernated properties, no, right, sir, my config dot properties, if I provide now, then what we have to do there, what is the process here we have to do there? If we want to get the details here, then what we have to do? All right, observe carefully. There we have to get, first of all, here we have to get a properties object. Inside this properties object, here we have to get like what there? We have to get like what there? All the configuration details of the properties file here we have to get. That means here what we have to do there? Listen carefully. Properties is equal to new properties. Then after that, properties dot load method here we have to use new file input stream of here what we have to provide there, that will be like what there, my config dot properties. I think so this name may not be sufficient. Here we are able to get file output, file not found exception we may get here, but let us check this one. Throws exception here. Maybe that properties file, maybe file not found exception we may get here. I'll check it anyway. Then after that, after getting this properties details here, then what we have to provide there? Guys, observe carefully. After completion of this, then what we have to do there? Configuration dot set properties method is available. There we have to provide like what are the properties. To the configuration here, we have to set this properties here. This we have to do. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Okay, then directly here, if we change the name of the properties file, no, we have to get the properties to the properties object. The properties object we have to set to do what there? Configuration. Configuration dot set properties method that we have to use. Okay, fine. Now let me execute this here. Here we have to get some output here. One exception here, we are getting file not found. Exactly. I'm expecting this one. Don't worry. Now it's a fully qualified name. Absolute name here we have to provide. Yeah. This location here we have to get there. That complete location here we have to provide. Then only we are able to get it. Now we are able to get the data. Where is the case here? When the properties file is available with a different name. If the properties file is available with hibernated properties, no, then easily we are able to get it. Yes, sir, got it or not? Easily here we are able to get it. Right, you know, this is the content here I'm telling them. No, okay, fine. This is which approach, guys? Now tell me, declarative approach with the properties file. Am I right or not? Declarative approach with the properties file with the mapping file XML and as well as like what their annotations. Both are shown there. Right. Then after that, after understanding this, then what next one here we have to do there? After understanding this particular point, another thing is like what there? Declarative. That means declarative approach here we completed, guys. Declarative approach we completed. Then we have to go for like what? After understanding this declarative approach, then we have to go for programmatic approach. Programmatic approach here we have to provide. All right, sir. How we are able to provide this programmatic approach, guys? Just I want to close all of them, not required here. Programmatic approach here I required. Okay. How we are able to provide in a programmatic approach? To provide this in programmatic approach, then what we have to do there? Observe carefully. In the same example here I'm showing there, how to manipulate all the things in a programmatic approach. Everything we have to set as a property to the configuration object. Guys, are you getting my voice clearly or any disturbance? Are you getting any disturbance, guys? Are you getting any sounds? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice clearly, or else are you getting any sounds? Clear. Okay, fine. Why? Because some construction is going on here besides my building now. All right. Now let's observe this. Then how we are able to provide like what there? This is a programmatic approach. Observe carefully. In the programmatic approach, first of all, here what we have to do there, every property we have to set like what there explicitly by using set property method. CFG dot set property, not CFG configuration, right? Yeah. Configuration dot set property method. Property name. What is this property name actually? Hibernate dot connection dot driver underscore class. Here we have to provide the value. What value here we have to provide there? Now this is like what there? Driver class. Driver class name here we have to provide like what there? Com dot mysql dot cg dot jdbc dot driver semicolon. Right, so now next one is like what the configuration dot set property hibernated connection dot url jdbc colon mysql colon slash s localhost colon 3306 slash durgadb. Right, sir. Then another point here. Configuration dot set property hibernated dot connection dot username root configuration dot set property right hibernated dot connection dot password comma root. Then after that, dialect property also here we have to provide. Hibernate dot dialect dot right, sir. Dialect also here we provided, but resource here we have to add. Now the resource is like what there. Now it is not XML file here. My mapping file is not XML file. My mapping file is what there. It's an annotated class now. So here what we have to provide there, configuration dot add annotated class. There we have to provide like what there, employee dot class. This is programmatic approach, not required to maintain one XML file. For the sake of these configuration details, no, directly we can provide what there, all these programmatic details here we are able to provide. Right, sir. Now let's observe carefully. Let me execute this one. Here we have to get the same output. Direct class not found. There is some mistakes, no? Arg dot hibernate dot dialect dot. Package name we have written wrongly. Right, sir. Now here we are getting the data. As to that output here we are getting, now try to recognize this. Okay. This is clearly that all the content here, then what we provide now. This is about like what they, how we are able to perform, like providing configuration details through like what their declarative approach and as well as like what their programmatic approach. How it is possible to provide all these details both in a programmatic approach and as well as like what declarative approach, guys. So without using configuration file and without using mapping file, everything here we are able to provide. This is what exactly the content here we understood. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Right, sir. Next one, after completion of this total content here, we have to go for another concept is like what there, composite case. Guys, then I'll discuss about this composite keys on tomorrow. There we are able to see the composite keys content here perfectly. Don't worry. All the concepts here we are going to understand effectively. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see the content on tomorrow about this composite keys.